Here's one for you. Alabama's abortion bill is not about Alabama. It's about tossing Roe v. Wade. Even strict abortion laws make exceptions for rape and incest, but this one has Supreme Court written all over it. Yes, the bill that Alabama State Senate votes on today is intended to put an end to virtually all abortions in the state. Taking a different tack from the other heartbeat bills we've seen in recently, this one makes it a felony for a doctor to perform or attempt an abortion. And anyone who violates the law faces up to a sentence of 99 years in Alabama's prison. The sole exception is when the mother's life is threatened. Most laws that prohibit some aspect of abortion have an exception that permits the procedure in cases of rape or incest. Alabama's bill does not. But that draconian nature of the bill is its point, because its sponsors aren't just looking to prohibit abortion in Alabama, they're looking for a clean vehicle to take to the Supreme Court. They want to overturn Roe v. Wade, supplanting it with something that makes state laws prohibiting abortions the law of the land. We have seen this strategy before in Alabama. The Shelby County versus Holder case became the vehicle for eliminating provisions of the Voting Rights Act that protected minority voters in states with historical suppression and discrimination. Laws designed with a specific Supreme Court outcome in mind will focus on the issues most likely to lead to that outcome. In the Shelby County case, the issues presented were selected to permit the court to gut the Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act. The move was successful. Here, the strategy is explicitly one of passing a bill that gives the court the opportunity to reverse Roe rather than eroding it bit by bit. Alabama's anti-abortion bill is part of a legislative agenda that is meant for the rest of the country, as much as, if not more than, it's meant for Alabama. Late last week, Alabama's legislators became social media fodder when a shouting match broke out on the Senate floor over Republican Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth's effort to gavel down an amendment to the bill that would have permitted the exception for rape or incest. The bill had cleared Alabama's House of Representatives without either exception attached. Debate over the amendment was not partisan in the sense that it was not between Democrats and Republicans. Republicans hold a supermajority in Alabama's legislature, which they have controlled since 2010. They have a 77 to 28 majority in the House and hold 27 to 35 seats in the Senate. So the debate over the abortion bill and what, if any, exceptions would include has been a matter primarily for Republicans' internal deliberation. All 4 of Alabama's female state senators are Democrats, but 7 of the 18 women in the House are Republicans, including the one who sponsored the anti-abortion bill. That sponsor, Representative Terry Collins, along with Ainsworth, opposed any amendment and has been straightforward in her assessment of why it's so important that the bill move forward without exceptions for rape or incest. To Collins, the core argument for her bill is that a fetus in utero is a person, in contradiction of the legal ruling in Roe. Why refuse to include amendments to protect women in cases of rape and incest? According to Collins, permitting abortions in those situations means the fetus isn't a person. She has said that she will kill the bill if it includes the amendments because it won't go to the Supreme Court. The bill was written directly and intentionally challenges Roe versus Wade. That couldn't be clearer. The bill is meant for the Supreme Court. Its goal is not just to criminalize abortion in Alabama, but also to make it possible for states across the nation to follow suit. Its proponents see the bill as raising the issue of whether a fetus is a person so directly as to permit the court to find that it is permissible to prohibit abortion no matter the developmental stage of the fetus or the circumstances of the pregnancy. Now, I've said this since the Ohio heartbeat bill, that this is an issue, and it's going to be an issue. And the reason that it's an issue is because there are more deaths more white deaths than white births. And eventually, they were going to come along and start rolling back some of these laws to facilitate more white births. I think that I even saw a story today about women dressed in costumes, in Handmaid's Tales costumes, to signify that white women are becoming fertility slaves so they can have more white babies. So this issue hasn't been around since the 70s when Roe V Wade was passed in 1973. So it looks like the millennials are actually going to relive the 60s all over again. But it goes to show you that in times of stress and strife, governments can actually do what they really want. And they do things for their own devices, just like they passed feminism and feminist laws in the first place because of their own devices. Now, with shrinking demographics means shrinking power, they're going to do what they must to basically politically remain viable and survive, whether it's mixed marriages or killing Roe v. Wade and taking white women's power away. Either way, the state is the state, and demographics are demographics. And basically, white folks in this country are on the downside of demographics right now. So expect more of the same. And don't be surprised that other feminist laws will get killed or rolled back and power taken away from white women that they've been given over the past, I would say, 50 years. But with that, I'm going to jump off of here. This is BGS out, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.